Hey, thanks for tuning in to Leanne On Demand today. I thought I'd catch up with one of the amazing heroes in my group that actually summited Ushba East the other day. He's still recovering, but Tim gave me a really great rundown of what it was like on the peak, the journey as well, and I'd love him to share that with you. Tim, just talk us through what happened a couple days ago.
All right, so we got up at about 12 a.m. on the morning of the summit day, had breakfast, and we were on the track by about 1 a.m. It then took about 6 or 7 hours, depending on how quick you went, to get to the top of the mountain. It was by far the hardest thing I think any of us had ever done. A lot of time spent on the hands and knees, just gasping. Pretty much the whole way up was 45 plus degrees, through the snow, attached to ropes, being pulled by Sherpas. Yeah, pretty incredible. Made it to the top of the mountain around 7 a.m., I think, 7:30, just after sunrise. It was amazing. It was an incredible view. Had a little vomit at the top to survive, but other than that, yeah. And then of course the way down was a whole other journey when we're already completely destroyed and spending another 2 or 3 hours getting back to the bottom, and then not being able to sleep because of some risks around altitude and sleeping, and then having to walk out all the way down to another town called Fariche, which was another 4-hour hike after that. So huge day, but an amazing experience, and glad that it's done, but glad that we did it.
You mentioned that phrase, completely destroyed. Now, I just want to sort of frame this up as well, because it's not like when you started doing this, you were 100% full of energy and full of beans. You were struggling even before you went up to that high camp. Tell me about the state that you were in even before attempting the summit.
Yeah, well, you might even hear in my voice that it's still a little bit husky. I've been fairly unwell for about 2 weeks now. So throughout pretty much the whole hike, from the previous episodes, you would have known that we've been going for about 2 weeks up to Everest Base Camp. And then a couple of days after that, we did the peak summit of Lobuche. But yeah, have had a pretty nasty cough and sore throat and things for most of the time. No appetite, bit of nausea. I've lost about 6 kilos since we started and didn't have that much to lose. It has destroyed the body for a lot of us, I think, but it's nice now to be down a bit lower in altitude and, yeah, recovering.
Yeah, it is really nice to be down here. Now, tell us, what drives you to go to 6,000, close to 6,200 metres? Because there was an option, and I was one of those people that said, put my hand up and said, oh, look, I'm just going to sit this one out. What drove you to actually want to do this?
I think for me, funnily enough, in a way, it's I actually won the trip. I didn't pay for it, but it's been paid for. I need to make sure that I make the most of what I've come for.
Yeah.
And obviously it was still an awesome achievement to get to base camp, to Everest Base Camp as well. But yeah, I just felt like I just had it in me to get to the top, and it turns out I did, and I'm really glad that I gave it a crack. But yeah, I don't know. I just always try and achieve the things that I set out to achieve. And I totally respect the decision of the half a dozen that didn't, or the outcome of people not knowing, just because it's an unexplainable amount of pain that we went through to get there. So, yeah.
I think something funny that I remember you saying is as soon as you got back, you're that was 10 times harder than I thought it would be, unimaginably harder. In terms of the expectations, and I think something you even told me was you were looking up in the skies and you weren't too sure whether it was a star or whether it was another group, and that was really quite confronting. It's where am I? How much further have I got to go?
Yeah, absolutely. So because we left in the middle of the night, couldn't see where we were going. We had head torches, so we might have had 10, 15 meters of visibility. But in a way that kind of helped because we didn't know how much further there was. We couldn't see the top. But every now and then you could see a group that was further ahead just based on their head torches, and it did just look like stars in the sky. And then you'd see another group twice as far ahead of them, look like more stars. And it's a bit deflating when you think, okay, we're doing well, we've made some good progress. And then you see twice as far ahead of you, there's a whole bunch of other people that you still have to get there, and they're probably only halfway up as well. So yeah, it was a grueling experience. Yeah. It was certainly a lot quicker on the way down, but obviously the body's already destroyed. But being able to see where we're going, it was kind of nice. It was helpful as well. And we got to take in the scenery, got to experience that as well, not just be in the dark and blindly looking for the next step and half stumbling every step.
And the photos from the summit were absolutely incredible. Are there any lessons that you're taking from anything from this trip that you're going to take back to Brisbane with you?
I actually just messaged one of the leadership team at my work, which is where I got the trip from, saying that I now have a whole new perspective on what the word hard means. So the relative position of hard has now moved. If I feel like something's hard in the future, I'll just think it's nothing compared to this. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a really valuable outcome from this trip, is that I can have a new perspective on what is actually difficult in life.
I'm with you on that, and like not taking things for granted and just being like, even when we haven't rested and we're feeling like shit, we can still do all those things. So, hey Tim, congratulations on what an epic achievement. Well done. I was living vicariously through your description of it, so thank you so much for describing it so beautifully.
Well, and thank you as well, Leanne, and congrats to you for making it to base camp as well.
Thank you.